I'm Trevor.
I'm Trax.
And I'm Dylan.
Welcome to the Red Squadron Podcast. Welcome back to the Red Squadron Podcast, guys. We have a lot of exciting topics for you today, and we have brought Dylan in here. He has been on the podcast before. You may remember him from the Revenge of the Sith special. So,
And
really happy to have him.
Trivia.
Yep.
And, yeah.
In the yep.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that one. This past weekend, Trevor had a great opportunity to go to the Motor City Comic Con over in Novi, Michigan. Bought a lot of cool stuff. Trevor, why don't you show us what you got over there?
Yeah, so this is gonna be an interactive little segment here. So I'll get some items up, show you guys around. This guy, all right, take him off the stand, was one of the things I've been after for a long time. Hopefully that's a good little angle.
If you guys have seen other episodes, we had the blue guard up and finally got the matching piece for it.
Yes, we have had the Senate Guard, and he was actually my first collectible statue piece. Yeah, you want me to go? Yeah, if you can wiggle him down there. And big fan of the character. I don't know, like just such a clean design. And I knew I had to get this guy.
Okay, I'm not doing it. I'm too afraid to break it. All right, these things they're not cheap. All right, I don't want to, and it's not mine, so I wasn't willing to just go.
So this is the second item that I got. This is actually, again, just kind of a phase 2 generic clone trooper. Try and show both cameras, see which one comes out better. Honestly, this one I had no intentions of getting. It was just kind of at the booth with this great piece, and I thought, you know what? Okay, why not?
Did they have a phase 1 available?
No, they don't have. No. And come to find out, he's like part of a set of like there's a 212th and a 501st version of him.
Okay.
So maybe we'll try and get that now at some point. The next one, while I'm leaving it plugged in, see how far I can get this, is.
Oh, it's got more.
Okay.
You turned it off.
Yeah. Is an LED light.
I thought we did some.
Yeah, I did too.
LED light, Rebellion logo, X-Wing.
Obviously fits our podcast pretty well.
Fits our podcast very well.
Yeah.
Okay, got that.
There you go.
Perfect.
This was my bigger purchase. I'm trying to get this set. Okay. This is one of Ahsoka Tano's lightsabers from Rebels and Beyond. So live action, this is what she'd be donning. All right, you can see and tell that it's that based on the curvature of the blade as opposed to her normal Clone Wars ones.
Fired up.
But igniting this.
Yeah.
The noise.
Bang.
The crisp
I love
noise.
that. Yeah. It's crisp.
I love how the
Way you're moving your saber, it looks like you took the Jedi fighting class over there. Yeah. That was available, right?
It was. So that's one of the big items on the list. But there actually were some things that we wanted to shout out. So we met a lot of cool people while we were there. And I was actually there with Connor. He's been on the episode before. With like the trivia night, the May the 4th special, and some others very knowledgeable about
Clone
Star
Wars
Wars.
arcs.
Yes,
I think that's what he was on as well.
So while we were there, people were very nice to us. We were handing out some business cards. We were trying to grow the podcast. And the first item I wanted to show you guys is actually a book that I was gifted. Presumably, I would assume by the guy selling it and getting his name out there as well. And try and show you that cover right here. Try and give this one a look too. But it is actually the Book of Mandalore, The Way, the Spiritual Guide for the Modern Mandalorian by Finian Allen Davies. And the really cool thing is, I'm assuming this is Arabic. I don't know if it's some other language, and I know it's hard to see from back here now, but it has one page in Star Wars language, right? And again, I think it's Arabic, hopefully. And this page in English. So if you wanted to learn, or you're capable of already reading Arabic,
I mean, I'm very fluent in a lot of Star Wars language. Never seen that one before,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
my expertise is gone.
Yeah, I'm fluent in a lot of the Star Wars languages that are like
Wookiee's kind of my
that are like
best.
English. Oh no, I'm familiar with the English ones, but so yeah, that was really cool to see. You know, it was a really cool opportunity for like artists to support artists type thing, and I guess I wouldn't classify us as artists, but
I
but
mean, this isn't art. We put up a whole production here.
that's true. That's true. It takes us all a minute to get the setup going. The second thing we wanted to show off is actually artwork from somebody that's sponsoring us. All right, they sent us some free artwork, so I'm gonna show you some really great artwork. This is hand drawn by them and then hand painted by them, and these are prints, but they also sell like custom one-of-ones and stuff. But we'll get this closer. Oh, it's kind of dark. I'm gonna try and go to this one.
Yeah, good.
So this is obviously Anakin and Padme on Naboo. Try and get it. I know it's dark, but you can see them down there. All right, and the quality is just outstanding. And then this one is a piece that they sent as well. Again, of Anakin and Padme right there. They're obviously very passionate romance. Hopefully these shots are turning out okay.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
We'll give a little wide shot here too.
Yeah.
You will probably notice us hanging these on the wall in the future, but I wanted to give you guys a closer look of that. Yeah.
Trevor sent me over some pieces, her Instagram account. If you want these pieces, they are incredible. I took a little scan through them. Go follow at Becca Painting. Yep, not an S at the end. Or you can go on Etsy, www.beccapaintings.etsy.com. All right, she does really great work. I spent a little too long just going through the page, looking at everything, seeing if I wanted to get something, and safe to say, I will.
Yeah, well, and it's also a lot of like other movies. So we actually were sent like a Pirates of the Caribbean piece, and I know she has like other movies in the work. She's had like a custom sketch of Kung Fu Panda Po at one point. So really great movie pictures, and she does a phenomenal job. So we wanted to make sure we shouted her out, and again, we consider her a sponsor for setting us stuff for our setup.
Hopefully we can get her on the podcast sometime.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yes,
that'd be really cool.
for sure.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about this, but I think we should show off the shirts.
Oh yes, so I was thinking about that while you were talking. I was like, wait, the shirts.
So this is new. All right, guys. I actually had somebody that I know had a kind of a final project for something to design a logo, and they volunteered to design the podcast logo. So
Go ahead. You can show off the back.
sorry, getting the camera, but the back. Oh, is that a weird view?
No, it's showing up good. It's showing up.
Is
good.
it?
Yeah.
So the back is actually two X-wings. In the front, I guess again we'll try and it's a little dark.
Probably show it on the camera too.
All right.
Yeah. Looks good.
Very Star Wars fonty. But the back, for those of you that like know us and stuff, is actually Red 5 and Red 7 because a little bit of background on us, we used to have like squadrons in high school.
For our swim team.
Yes, for our swim team. And those were Trax's and I's call signs. So it's kind of a little personal nod to us.
Yeah.
I was the green.
I switched call signs a lot. I was Gold 7 for a while, then switched to Red 7, and then senior year I was Red Leader.
Yeah.
I
That was
was
pretty tough.
green leader, then gold 3, then gold leader.
Yep.
So
Red 5, I was just Red 5. So.
Which is honestly, like, I would rather been Red 5 versus Red Leader, to be honest. That's more iconic.
Yeah.
Red 7.
So we wanted to add that personal nod. They did a great job with that. I'm sure you've seen our pages get updated with some logos they did for us. But I would say we plan on selling these to people.
Yep.
So keep your mind out for an order form. They're very good quality, trusted brand, and very affordable. So we will keep you guys
Once we get
posted.
that fired up, it'll be on Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. So just pay attention.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, our topic for today is actually ranking the movies. This is one that we've wanted to get to for a while. Scheduling conflicts, stuff like that, because we wanted to make sure we had Dylan here for that. But we are really excited to get into that.
sweet.
Welcome back, guys. Appreciate Trevor for showing off all that stuff. It was really cool.
Gotcha.
Wish I could have joined you. I was planning on going. I had tickets for 2 days, and I kept on pushing it back. I was like, on Saturday, Sunday, whatever. But anyway, as Trevor said, our topic for today is the Star Wars movie rankings. I want to clarify, we are including the Clone Wars movie. Okay, that's the animated one. So that will be in our list. So we're doing our top 1 through 12. We're going to start over there with Trevor with our number 12 here.
Yeah, so I want to preface this by saying, like, I truly do enjoy, to an extent, all of the Star Wars movies. Mm-hmm. Like, there's always at least one moment that I can think of per film that, like, oh, I like that, or it introduced somebody I like. And I always watch these, like, they're all canon to me, they're all, whatever. Mm-hmm. But there are obviously ones that you like more than others. And although I love the era, at 12 for me is Star Wars The Clone Wars, the animated movie. My main thing is Snips, Ahsoka was annoying in that movie. I think she was annoying. I think a lot of fans did not like Ahsoka. I don't think she was well received, and I didn't either. She's one of my favorite characters. Phenomenal. But in that movie specifically, like, she's undermining Rex. Like in my book experience, I ranks everything, and she's all like, oh, technically I rank higher than you. No, you don't. And then, like, the whole, like, stinky Rod of the Hutt arc, it's like,
it's rough.
Yeah.
It has rough moments, for sure.
But, again, there's obviously things that I like, but that's why it's going to rank at 12 for me today.
Yeah. I had the same thing, because, honestly, I can't remember that animated movie. And it's been a long time since I've seen it, so honestly, I couldn't give you a good opinion on that movie. But
do we watch it at our Star Wars marathon?
We've watched it some years.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I remember more in high school.
Okay.
But also, like, if you don't remember it, it's probably not your favorite movie.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. So I'm gonna go away from you guys. My 12 is, I think, probably Star Wars fans' consensus worst movie. All right, I have The Rise of Skywalker on here. That one, we've talked at length on this podcast about how the sequel trilogy, they suffered from director changes, and J.J. Abrams coming back and trying to fix or get the story back on his path from Rian Johnson, I think kind of derailed the whole series. It felt like a lot of, what's the word for just wanting to please fans? Fan
service?
Fan service, yes. Thank you. Fan service. Felt like a ton of fan service. No direction in the movie, really. And I remember going out of the theater watching that. And it was kind of like the first time that I was like, man, that was not a good watch for me, personally. But that's my 12. 11. I still don't have the Clone Wars movie.
Okay.
I have The Last Jedi.
Okay.
All right. I probably need to rewatch it again. I've probably only seen it twice, and there are good moments. I think there's a big gap between 11 and 12 for me. I think The Last Jedi has great moments. The cinematography of it all is actually really beautiful. The salt mine scene with the red going out is just incredible. But I just have a problem with Snoke dying in it that I can't get past. Mm. And when I talk about Force Awakens, I'll mention the good parts of that. But get Snoke dying in that really ruined it for me. I didn't think it went along with, like, anything that I wanted out of the movie. But that's my justification for that one. Dill, go ahead.
Soul Wars. That's actually a movie I really want to actually rewatch, because it's been a long time since I've seen that one as well. So I don't have good input on that one either.
Wait, which one did you say?
Solo Wars.
Oh, okay.
Star Wars.
Sorry.
I was like, Solo Wars.
I always say Solo Wars. I don't know why I do that.
I'm over here stressing that I missed a Star Wars project. I'm like, oh shoot, I'm a fraud.
No, I've been wanting to watch that. I see it on Disney Plus, and it's on my watch list. So I just haven't gotten to it. So,
and it's definitely a good watch. I recommend it.
You should.
Jumping to 11 for me. It is Rise of Skywalker. For the same reason, Snips is annoying. No, I'm just kidding.
You're just thinking about Snips the whole time. Gosh, Snips, they're terrible.
I didn't mind it in the movie. There were some scenes, like, I'm glad, like, they brought back the whole, like, and I'm all the Jedi. I know that's controversial, but I'm glad that they brought that the actors and stuff, like the voices. That was cool to see on screen for me. But my main complaints are kind of like, the whole Palpatine returned.
Mm-hmm.
At least like with how good of a villain he is, like having a better way to bring him back
Somehow.
helps it a lot, in my opinion. Like he's a top tier villain, obviously.
Yeah.
But the way you brought it back makes no sense. And then again, I think because of all the director changes, Finn's story wasn't really fleshed out. Like it felt like, even in specifically that movie alone, it felt like they were trying to bring Finn up to like finally revealing he's like a Jedi, or he's in love, either or, and then he just does neither.
Yeah.
And John Boyega is just too good of an actor not to.
And John Boyega is frustrated by that.
Yes.
Like he's had multiple interviews where he is frustrated. Like he's like, they shouldn't have marketed me as this Jedi if I wasn't going to be in Force Awakens.
Yeah.
You
He's
know?
just too good of a character, too good of an actor to not flesh it out. But again, I say like I personally I still enjoy all these movies, but it is for me number 11 because I'm not going to rewatch it as much as the rest.
Oh, you want to? This is my biggest problem with it. This is my biggest problem. You know the dagger that they find?
Yeah.
How does it match up with the destruction of the Death Star?
And
But that dagger is thousands of years old.
In the ocean, yeah.
Yeah. How is that possible? Okay, sorry. That made me so mad when I watched it. I was like, this is not.
Yeah. Again, I think they changed some plot points and they sped through some explaining things.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress.
Yeah.
My 10th is actually The Last Jedi, so kind of just, I think I flip-flopped from yours.
Yes.
And my main thing's there. Luke's death. This is a hit or miss for me because to see his force projection ability was great. I really enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
Like top tier moment. I was going crazy in the theater. I know it. I still kind of get goosebumps when I see it. But turning it into his death very much disappointed me.
Yeah.
We didn't get near enough time with Luke fully being fleshed out as like a Jedi Master.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second aspect, all right, I want to preface this by saying we typically do a yearly Star Wars marathon. That's about 28, 29 hours in the same room, looking at the same screen. You got to start 6 a.m. the day of to get done by like noon the next day. And when you've been up for, 24, 25 something hours, and you reach the casino scene in The Last Jedi, and you're trying to, it's such a bad mix. You will never, again, this is probably going to sound so harsh, you will never dislike a scene more than after you've been up for 26 hours and that scene comes on and they're still in the casino an hour later. Like, it's just a hard watch. It doesn't feel like it added a lot to me. Mm-hmm. But again, I do think there were some good things with The Last Jedi, and I actually really enjoyed my theater experience with it. Mm-hmm. But some of those things, I'm just like, oh, that's hard for me to sit through now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I have Attack of the Clones. I honestly don't remember that one. I have a hard time remembering things. Mm-hmm. And that one is one I should probably rewatch as well.
It's not a hot take, actually. It's not a hot take.
Yeah, it's not.
Remembering things and little details like you guys can do amazing. I have a hard time remembering small details. So it's like the big scenes, the most popular scenes is where I can see from.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one.
That's definitely where George Lucas struggles with the dialogue the most, I think. Like 1 and 3, I think he has way better dialogue too. It's a little bit of a struggle sometimes. But my 10 was your guys' 12.
Okay.
That was the Clone Wars movie. I'm just a sucker for the prequels era. And so anytime I can see Anakin, Obi-Wan, I love it. Like, I'll watch them 10 times out of 10 times over the previous 2 movies I mentioned. We already fleshed that out pretty good, so I'll just move straight to my 9. And I'm going to say this. The gap between 9 and 10, and the gap between 1 and 9, the gap between 1 and 9 is smaller than my gap from 9 to 10, or from 9 to 10. Those previous 3 I mentioned are bottom of the barrel for me, and then 9 is way up here with the rest of them. It's a very small gap from 9 to 1. But I have the Phantom Menace, and I feel bad that I put it that low because I've actually gained like a lot of affection for it over the years. I love the twist on Anakin's fate. The Duel of Fates is one of the best fight scenes in the entire Star Wars universe. I think Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan's the best with the soundtrack behind it. It is the best for me. All right, I don't know. I hope you guys feel the same way. Obviously.
I'm going out of turn. It's actually it's my number 9.
It is your number 9? Okay.
Phantom Menace. You talked a lot about the good in it. I'm going to come at it a little bit.
Okay.
With I'd say arguably its biggest weaknesses are Little Annie and Jar Jar, and that is not reflective of the actors.
No.
Ahmed Best is great. I feel bad. I can't recall Little Annie's name.
I can't either, but Hayden Christensen just talked about him and said, I wish he would come back to...
Yeah.
I feel like he would get actually a warm reception these days.
They're phenomenal. And it seems more of on the production side of they're still changing dialogue, still changing character interactions. So I would argue those are its biggest weaknesses. But I personally have no problem with either of those characters or the actors. I don't watch it and I'm like, Jar Jar. I don't watch it and I'm like, oh, Little Annie. I'm perfectly fine. My senior quote was, the biggest problem is nobody helps each other. So
Little Annie? Did you put Little Annie or just Anakin Skywalker?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I think I just called him Anakin Skywalker. But anyway, it's my 9. Sorry. I don't know if you had more to say.
No, I mean, you covered my weak spots of it too, and that fight scene carries the movie big time for me. The fact that it changes Anakin's fate. Qui-Gon teaching Anakin would have led to a whole... I wish they did a what-if series if Qui-Gon actually lived. That'd be amazing. But Dill, go ahead with...
So I have A New Hope. Like you said, my 9 and 1 through 9 are really close, but A New Hope is not only just being the first, it's the first, right? The trilogy.
Yep.
Original trilogy.
Yep.
Yeah, I do love that movie, but it's out of the original trilogy, it's not my favorite. So,
No.
But that's.
Yeah, it's my number 8. It's my number 8. So I'm Dylan had his 9. I have it my 8. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this. I'm sorry. I appreciate high quality production, and for the time, everything was state of the art. So credit where credit was due. When it came out, state of the art technology, absolutely amazing effects. But some of the older movies don't hold up for me as much in terms of watchability because of some of their limitations.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm going to talk about specifically the big limitation in Obi-Wan and Darth Vader's fight. I think there's a big limit there.
Yeah.
It's like they, I don't know, they obviously weren't versed in that sword play yet.
Yeah.
They didn't have all the effects to keep up with the speed. I think it hurts it just a tiny bit compared to some of the others that I feel have a good story and really good effects that are still really good.
Yeah.
Again, great story. If you ask me to rank them objectively just on stories and such, completely different list.
Yeah.
I want to put that out there. I do mean that. I took this as movies that I want to sit down and watch, my all-time favorites. So
watchability
for that reason,
Yeah.
A New Hope falls to 8 for me.
Yeah. And I actually do have an 8, but I'm going to let Dylan go first here with his 8, and then I'll continue talking about it.
And a lot of people are gonna probably not like mine, but I have Force Awakens. So
that's not a super.
That's
horrible.
It's the best of. It's a consensus best of the sequel trilogy. I think you haven't even said the other 2 yet, have you? Of the
No,
sequel
I have
trilogy.
not.
Yeah. So okay, that is a hot take, maybe. My bad.
So, I don't know. I just sometimes certain ones. That's all I got. That one was kind of a hard one to try to squeeze in there because, like I said, some of those most popular scenes pop out to me, but that one I remembering some of those smaller details is kind of hard for me to remember on that one.
What?
I mean, people put it that low because it's a New Hope remake is their biggest complaint. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you agree with that?
Well, I guess fair point. It is obviously I haven't said Force Awakens yet.
Yeah.
It ranks higher than A New Hope for me because I like the story of A New Hope, and Force Awakens is essentially A New Hope with updated graphics, right?
Just a newer version.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where
I have not heard that, so it's good.
And also, Dill, this is what you enjoy. You like what you like, you know?
Yeah.
So
and you'll see in my list,
Oh,
Yeah.
I believe.
You'll see why I.
Yeah. So my 8, I already said that it was A New Hope. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. I do think it's a lot of the old filming that they did with it, the fight scene. I will say, have you guys seen the edit on Instagram of like an updated version of the old?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if they had that fight in there, I think A New Hope would jump up like 4 spots for me. But I will say, I think we're on the younger side. I think if we had that feeling of watching it for the first time in theaters back in 1977 or whatever it was, I bet you this would be top 3 for me.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
Probably.
So I have no problem with people putting it at 3. I know I'm probably going to get hate for putting it at 8, so I feel bad for that. But Luke is a little whiny in it at the beginning, and his transformation through the original trilogy.
I'm gonna go to consultation, pick up some
power converters.
yeah.
Yes, so that's why I put it at 8. It's no hate against it. I love the movie. It probably is at the bottom of my rewatch, though. I probably watch Phantom Menace more than I watch A New Hope, to be honest. My 7, love this movie. Solo, A Star Wars Story, or Solo Wars, as Dylan likes to call it. Solo is... Oh, I wish it had made more money at the box office, because I would love a second version of it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if they had planned on doing anything with a second Solo and having Darth Maul in it at all. My guess is no, but if they did, I would be like, oh, take my money, I'm going. Like, and I think it helps Han's character. I really do. I think it makes his return in A New Hope make a little bit more sense. Because his turn in A New Hope from, like, being this money guy only to, oh, I gotta go back and help Luke. And he only spent 24 hours at most with him. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, that's kind of random. If you really deep down and think about it, cool moment, kind of random. But this explains it a little more. He is always the good guy. He wants to be this person, but in reality, who he's rooted in is being that good person, that hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your 7, Bill?
So I have Empire Strikes Back. So for me, I put it up a little higher because I have a little more context after coming out of the first movie, and have a little more context. Okay, I have a kind of idea of what's going into the second one. Also,
Hey, no,
that was his lightsaber. He forgot to turn it off.
Yeah. Sorry.
so and why it's more on the second half of the list is like the graphics of it. And also, like one of you two said it, not being able, like being a younger generation and not seeing it in the movies is, and yeah, it's just not being able to see it firsthand, like when it first came out, and so.
I'm gonna support you here. I actually have it at 7 as well. Empire Strikes Back.
You guys are crazy.
And listen, this is based on what I said, my rewatchability, my enjoyment. Again, you're asking me to rank it entirely on story and plot. It ranks higher, undoubtedly. I think it's a very strong movie. But I have a complaint and I got a really good thing. Obviously, the reveal of Darth Vader being Luke's father would have been very trippy if you saw this in theaters.
Yep.
Where it essentially came out of left field, like out of nowhere. So I thought that was great. It still has weight to this day. My big complaint is the siblings that are kissing in this film. Like, people seem to rub over this fact too much.
I'd block that out.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't even argue it really adds anything to the plot.
Okay, I got a question for you. What's a more memorable moment right now in history, like that people reference more? Luke and Leia kissing, or the reveal that Darth Vader is Luke's father?
No,
what is referenced more, do you think?
The reveal of Darth Vader.
Yeah.
being
Really?
father. Yeah.
Okay.
We're hanging around different people.
I just feel like it's brought up way more. I don't know, but
I think it's now we're realizing it's a little weird.
Well, it is weird. That's what I'm saying. It's being brought up way more.
Yeah. And I would again argue it really didn't add anything to the plot.
And George Lucas wanted to go a step further.
I don't care. We're done.
No, I'm just saying. He had deleted scenes.
Okay. Well, he had a plan, right? Is that what you'd be saying?
I mean, clearly in that film he did. I mean, he had to write in that he was the father. Same script.
Yeah.
So he's a little freaky like that. Okay, we'll move on.
Before I get into my top 6, I think this would be a good time to take a little bit of a break and leave you guys a little suspenseful for like 2 seconds. So we will be right back. As promised, welcome back. We are going to start our top 6 now to kind of end things. So my top 6, I would say a good amount of them are like pretty normal top 6 films for a lot of fans. But I know potentially my ordering is going to get some hate. At number 6, I actually have Attack of the Clones. All right, big reason. Like, I was a young boy when I see this, and there's guys in this white armor that look absolutely so cool. I love clones. Like, full disclosure, it's great. Like the Geonosis sequence growing up, that was insane.
That's probably the second best battle scene in all of Star Wars. Yeah. First one being Revenge of the Sith. Yep. Oh, this is second, easy. There's not even a third challenger for me. I'm pretty sure.
And this one is a positive and a negative. Anakin and Padme's romance. Positive in that I love seeing that passion, that connection that grew. Negative in that I do think the dialogue could be a little bit better at parts.
What are you talking? He was rizzing her up with some good lines over there.
I hate Sam.
Like works every time.
Again, Hayden Christensen did a great job. Never batted an eye at the performance. I almost would have liked Anakin to be a little bit smoother, a little more, I don't know, right? Because he's confident in battle, he's confident in all these, and I get that then it's shown like, oh, that's the effect Padme has on him. But I think most fans would agree the dialogue could be tweaked a little bit, and it would come across a little bit better to the ears, potentially. I don't know if that's a hot take, but...
It's not. I think that's people's biggest complaint is, we want Anakin to be this really cool character, and we're seeing him just fumble over his words. And he's just trying to say anything to keep the conversation going. It's like when you're talking to somebody and you're like, do you like weather?
And again, I do really like this movie a ton, so no shade at all. That would be my only critique. Dylan, 6 for you?
So I have The Last Jedi. So I just remember seeing it in the theaters, and one of my favorite scenes, I think Trax, you brought it up, but with the graphics in the salt flat there, and then and one of my, it's Kylo Ren, right? Kylo Ren, when he's like getting ready to go through the steel wall of the bunker, right? And towards there. That's one of my favorite scenes, especially when Skywalker's hologram and he goes at the hologram. That just being in the theaters it stunned me, and then
the shock and awe of him.
Because he wasn't actually there. So that was like one of my favorite scenes from the movie, and just the salt flats was just a cool scene. So. There's a lot of
good visuals in the movie.
Yes,
absolutely.
A lot of good visuals.
That's in a lot of my top 6. Most of my top 6 are related to that. My bottom 6 were more of that I can't remember, or ones that I watchability and graphics. So there's certain ones I enjoy more.
I don't know if you guys ever noticed this about The Last Jedi, but we talked about Force Awakens being like a New Hope story. Do you guys think I don't know if this is weird, but The Last Jedi is like The Empire Strikes Back in reverse? Have you guys ever thought about that?
No.
Because it ends with a battle just like Hoth. You know what I mean? But it's in reverse because I don't know. I just think maybe I'm way off base here.
No, I mean maybe. I think there's similarities, but the throne room fight scene isn't really reversed at all. It's kind of its own thing, right?
But I'm talking more big picture, the Rebel Alliance. They're established, they're on the run, and then we end with the Hoth battle instead of starting with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's weird. I don't know.
No, I get it.
Yeah. Okay.
Hints of it.
I held off talking about Attack of the Clones when you were talking about it, because that is my number 6 is Attack of the Clones. I just remember Kamino being the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. I was like, holy smokes. Cloning, the clone troopers look amazing. They were so clean. And then the music behind the march when Obi-Wan's looking over it, incredible. And I think Hayden Christensen had a very tough job to do. Because George Lucas wanted him to just do, like when his mom died, there was no dialogue really with Hayden Christensen. They're like, I just want you to show all the emotions you're going through with your facial expressions. I could not do that. Most actors, like, you're going through like 20 different emotions and you want them to show it in 10 seconds, right then and there. Incredible movie in my opinion. My 5, I might get a little heat for this. I have Force Awakens.
Okay.
The big reason Force Awakens is so high for me, I remember walking out of that theater and I was so excited for what the next movies could be. There were so many possibilities that went along with it. We had great characters that were beginning to take shape. The fight scenes were okay. They weren't the best, like they weren't prequel level, but they were definitely better than the original.
Yeah.
And there was the possibility of like, who is Snoke? Like that was so fun. We used to debate that.
Yes,
all the time. We'd be in the pool on our kickboards during warm up, and we would just have Snoke theories going. It lasted almost all year that year.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just like the feeling of coming out of that, the Rey's vision scene. Force Awakens, I keep it by itself a little bit when I think about the sequel trilogy. I still love it. I don't let the other movies kind of taint its legacy for me. I still hold it to on a really high pedestal.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So I have my number 5 is the Phantom Menace because that is what do you call it? It's not the trilogy. It's what's the next 3? Prequel. Yeah, the prequel.
Yeah.
But I like the prequel. Yeah, and I don't know why some of it got hate, but that's for another topic. But it's just the first movie of the prequel. I just remember seeing it the first time at Star Wars Marathon.
Yeah.
Was the first time I seen it. It was at Trevor's place, and just watching it for the first time, and it was actually the first Star Wars Marathon I did. Yeah. So.
Was that the first? Did you guys start with it that year?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was like your first.
Yeah, that was my first. That was my first Star Wars Marathon with you guys doing it. That was probably like high school. So, but yeah, that's why it's up there. It's just remembering the first time I watched it, and also like how we did it, being the marathon. So, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. My 5 again. Sounds like we're all gonna be a little controversial today. I have Solo: A Star Wars Story. And I can be very quick with this. It's fun, it's a refreshing story, and I think the actor had big shoes to fill. Obviously, replacing Harrison Ford, and I think he did a great job. Also, is it Childish Gambino? Who's
right?
Yeah. He does a great job. So I don't even feel the need to talk more about it. I think all those things combined.
It just sounds like I need to go watch it.
Well, when I was talking about like you agree with me that it helps Han's story.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think background stuff always helps.
Okay.
So that's my number 5. 4 is actually Force Awakens for me. Again, I think the theater experience, to your point, and the impact it had on us was really good. I think it was good quality. It was good looking. Again, it was almost just a newer, cleaner looking version of A New Hope. I think you could argue New Hope's story is still a bit better. But it's almost the same story, the same kind of linear progression, but better quality. I had hype for the potential, and it brought back Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I will say, in my opinion, our age, we're in a weird ground that really, we weren't old enough to really see the prequels in theaters, or even understand them if you happen to get taken when you were like 3, 4.
Yeah, that was my experience.
So we're in between generations here. And this is when, we're in high school, probably would have been freshman, sophomore year-ish.
I think it was it your junior year?
No,
it was my freshman year, your sophomore.
Yes. And it felt like, okay, I think we're a combination of the prequel generation and the sequels. Like, some people are like, oh, we're the original trilogy generation. We saw those in theaters. Some people, like, we're in that middle ground. And I think we're a bit of both. Yeah. So it was cool to finally have a movie that's like, this could be our movie.
A theater experience that you'll remember.
Yes.
Actually, I agree.
So for me, that immediately bumps it up into my top 4.
Yeah. So I have, and I wish now after watching it in the theaters. Revenge of the Sith. So I would have totally put that at number 1 after watching it in the theaters because that was pretty awesome. I know it's probably your number 1, guaranteed. I think so.
Spoiler!
I mean, I don't know.
You're looking at my list.
So
Keep things civil here.
Yeah.
anyway, so watching that in the theater was actually really cool. I did in my original list had a little lower, but after watching the movie in the theater, it was actually cool. My favorite scene is you're the chosen one, Anakin. The fight scene where where they're in like and I have the high ground, and he goes for that move that he knew he probably shouldn't have done after he did it. So and then when he becomes Darth Vader at the end of the movie, it's just that was an awesome scene when he just leans up from mass and everything, but so I like that one.
Yeah.
I ranked it a little higher.
Great film.
First list.
Should be at least top 3. But I'm not gonna. Your opinion. Yeah. It's fine. All right. My number 4, Return of the Jedi. I wish I put this higher, low key. Actually, now that we're talking, because I think it is just the accumulation of just an awesome story. I know people hate the Ewoks, but like people hate the Empire. Like native worlds were always fighting against the Empire, and the Empire obviously had a presence in Endor. It would make sense that the Ewoks had some sort of preparation.
Ewoks are just awesome in general.
And I think Andor even helped this even more because it's showing how much the home world's planets really dislike the Empire. And then the throne room scene is the best fight scene in the original trilogy, and it holds up actually really well. When I watch it, I'm like, it wasn't bad. The only part I don't like is when Darth Vader throws his lightsaber. Kind of looks a little clinky, but we finally get Palpatine right there. I know he shows up on the hologram in Empire Strikes Back, but he's a real menace. I feel like he's a very, when you see him on screen, you're like, oh man,
he's a fraud, but yeah.
Oh my god, we're not doing this again. But just an amazing accumulation of a series that was very well received and very emotional ending. Very emotional. So absolutely love that one. 3.
Okay.
This is. I've had this argument with somebody. My 3 is Rogue One.
Okay.
And that movie, like you said, it's like probably, when did that come out? Was that in the middle between Force Awakens?
2016 sounds right.
Okay, so it was between.
It feels right.
So it was between Force Awakens and Last Jedi.
I don't know.
I think it was.
That makes us feel wrong, but maybe.
I think it was.
I think you're correct. I think
Either way,
somewhere in there.
I know the excitement for Star Wars was at an all-time high, and I went in there and I was blown away. Best Star Wars movie that Disney has produced by a long shot. All the characters are amazing. The visuals are great. I have no complaints. I have no idea what people's complaints are with Rogue One. Because I think it's not flawless by any means, but it's amazing. It is incredible.
I actually have it at number 3 as well.
All right, there we go.
So I love the fight scene at the end, and I just remember and quote me if I'm wrong, I just remember like watching like the Gold Squad fighting scenes where they're just, they're in their jet, and then I'm just like, Gold Leader going down! So that was one of my favorites.
Gold Squadron's in it.
Yeah. But I mean,
towards
they disabled the Star Destroyer.
The main squad. Though.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
I just remember towards the end of the movie, the Gold Squad is in there. So, and at the time I was Gold Leader, so.
Now you got me thinking in the years if you were Gold Leader.
Yeah, I think I was Gold Leader. Maybe it was Gold 3. Either way, I know I was part of Gold Squadron at the time. Yeah. Swim, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got.
My 3 is Return of the Jedi. A lot of childhood attachment. Again, that's one of the first ones that I watched. I enjoyed it a lot. This might be controversial in and of itself. I prefer the newer ending compared to the older ending. I do. Like the celebration music, the Hayden Christensen Force Ghost as opposed to the original. Yeah. To me, it just makes more sense, and it hits me way harder. like seeing his Force Ghost pop up on the screen just like feels like, wow, like this is it. Like this was what it was supposed to be. This is it. So it really completes the story for me. Really makes things feel good. I love seeing him pop up. But again, this one, to sum it up, a lot of childhood attachment, and I think it's cool. You get to see Luke, kind of. I think he's conflicted at least a little bit. I know he says, I'm a Jedi like my father before me, but the whole idea of him wearing that black suit was to show that he was conflicted, and in the end, the flaps open and it's like a lighter color.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So they're trying to show his confliction, and I think that's really cool to see somebody step up and overcome that. So for that reason, for me, it's number 3. Obviously, when I share my 2, should I just then be sharing my 1? Because if I share my 2, they would just know my 1, right?
You can do
right.
Yeah, you can do 2, 1.
Because then you guys would all be able to do 2, 1, 2, 1. Okay.
I'm fine with that.
So my 2, Revenge of the Sith. Yep. Anyway, no quick count. I'm trying
to figure out what's 1.
Revenge of the Sith because of a lot of reasons. The lightsaber fighting, I think it's the best lightsaber fighting movie there is.
100%.
I think the betrayal story hits so hard. We talk about it all the time in the podcast. We want him not to turn every time we watch it.
100%.
It still hits you, sinks your gut, makes your heart ache a little bit, and you're like, he did it again. Like, it's just so gut-wrenching, but it's so good and it's so impactful. Like, beautiful, and I think compared to the first 2 movies, better dialogue. Like, it's just... And it is an excellent combination of visual effects, great storytelling, and great character development. So no argue for me. It's more than likely in a lot of people's top 3. If not, it's probably in your top 5. So for me, it's number 2.
Yeah.
My number 1.
I don't know what it is.
I have gotten hate for this before. It's Rogue One.
Okay. No, I love that take.
I have gotten plenty of hate for this. All right, and somebody recently has given me hate for this, and they'll know if they ever see this episode. But like
they're not watching?
Yeah. And for me, it's just, I don't know. It's so immersive into the world of Star Wars without being too much. You don't need lightsabers. You don't always need Jedi. The world of Star Wars is so expansive, so in-depth. There's so many great characters. And I feel like oftentimes we get lumped into there's got to be a lightsaber. There's got to be a big name appearance. These were ragtag people we virtually had not heard of at all that come together not to win and survive, but to prolong the end and buy somebody else a chance. Yeah, that's an incredible story. A little bit of background on me. My favorite video game ever is Halo Reach. Same premise, all right? It's a group of individuals that are coming together, and they know the odds. They know they're not going to walk out of this, quote unquote, with a win. Yeah. They are doing it to hold the line, to fight the odds, to give somebody else a chance to make a difference. And that is such an impactful story to me.
Dude, you're giving me chills right now.
Thank you. And not to mention the visuals, so crisp. The beach scenes on Scarif, you feel like you're there. I don't know what camera they used. Like, were they just using somebody's eyeballs? Because there's no graininess. There's no, right? Like, it's like, wow, this is crisp. Like the poster with the Rebels helmet, half in the water on the beach.
Yeah.
Chills. Death Troopers, iconic. Sharut, I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me.
Yes.
Iconic. Great sacrifice. It just, to me, encompasses a lot of what Star Wars is meant to be.
Yeah. You know what I like is the subtle theme of the Force working.
Yes.
That's what's really cool. That's Star Wars to me.
Exactly.
The Force has to be involved in some way. I think that's my thing. But it doesn't have to be lightsabers and somebody moving objects. It's the Force manipulates things in weird ways. And Jin was called to do this. With Cassian, with Sharut, Baze. Great. I wish they survived because I would like to see it more.
More of their
characters.
But that's
it's what had to happen, and it was a beautiful ending, and it really probably the second most emotional scene in Star Wars for me. Yeah. Is Cassian and Jin's death and all of them.
And I would say this for me is not impacted by Andor. Andor has been great. I'm actually one episode away from the finale right now. But this was my ranking before. Obviously that probably expands on it and has an argument to make that higher on people's rankings. But again, to your point as well, like the Force is meant to be this thing that's always around everybody.
Yes.
I think, Qui-Gon says that.
So
it's around everybody, and I feel like this is really the first and maybe only movie in Star Wars where we see that without just some strong Force users. So for me, undoubtedly number one. And seeing it in theaters, great as well.
So I'm just going to jump in real quick. I had Rogue One at 3. I made this list pre-Andor. It would jump up to 2 for me after watching Andor completely. At least 2. It's challenging Revenge of the Sith right now. I'm going through some things right now.
Search your feelings.
Yes, I know. I'm going to have to spend a lot of meditating on this one.
So I have Return of the Jedi as my number 2.
Respect.
Yeah.
I actually got to go and watch this in the theaters, right?
Yeah.
So, and I can't remember who I was there, but I just remember sitting in the theater, like thinking, okay, I am like back in the day watching this, but also watching it now, how many years later, and just everybody in the theater laughing at certain parts, like when the ship would explode and everybody would, laugh, because just be, the older graphics and stuff, but just a classic. Watching it in the theater was pretty much the biggest point for me in why it's so high on the list. And then my number 1 is Rise of Skywalker. Okay. So it's going to be controversial there. So and remember, I'm going by visual.
Read it back one more time. What was your number 1, Bill?
Rise of Skywalker. I'll say that right in the camera there. So, the fight, I just watching it in theaters, because, for me, when I was in high school, I would watch Star Wars as just, watching it, but then when I got into, the recent trilogy of, watching more Star Wars more and more, and then trying to get back into Star Wars. But I remember watching that, and then just, I don't know, and I love the graphics, and some of the special effects too. That was one that kind of brought me.
All right, before he goes, I'll try and
defend him. Are you gonna defend him here?
I'll try and add to your case.
Okay.
Dill, it sounds like to me you value the experience and the memories of it.
Yes.
I think that's a great way to rank it. I think objectively, it's a hard take to defend, and I'm not gonna defend it like that. Just wanted to put that out there. I think you value that. And I think there is a value to that of acknowledging, hey, I saw this in theaters with friends. Whatever my experiences with it weighs into my thing.
Yep.
But go on.
Sorry, Jack.
You're lucky this is PG podcast.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say
after the podcast we're having a talk.
I don't want to batch the take a lot. Okay, I really don't, because I guarantee you there are people with that feeling as well. Gosh dang it, that's the worst one by far. There's so many flaws with it that I just can't get past.
Eventually,
I'm not. Okay.
Revenge of the Sith should have been, for me, I would have put it at 1 after watching it in the
I don't think it matters that it's number 1.
Okay,
it was his
so even the fight scenes in that movie are just not to even close to prequel level. I put the fight scenes in Rise of Skywalker to A New Hope level. To be honest. What?
When
Really?
Kylo's killing the Knights of Ren, it's pretty decent.
We should do a reenactment of that. He's literally bending over with his lightsaber right here for about 5 seconds, and the guy just whiffs. I don't know. Okay, we're done. I'm not going to bash it too much. It has good moments. I'm going to drink some water to cool down before.
And I do remember just the scene at the end, with the Sith and whatnot. That was just kind of cool, because I remember seeing the Sith, actually seeing his face and whatnot. It was like, oh, he's part of the all 3 of them. So all of the trilogies. So.
I'll give you that. It was nice to see him back, but it just wasn't how I wanted him brought back.
Yeah.
Right? And we had that whole discussion of Palpatine's a fraud, and that my argument was disintegrating with the sequel trilogy. If you go back and watch that episode, that was really annoying. But anyway, I digress. We're done. I'm done being mad. I'm gonna be happy because I get to talk about my 2 favorite ones. Number 2, I have Empire Strikes Back, and I already said this, but Rogue One would probably be my 2 right now after watching Andor, but this list was made pre-Andor, so it is what it is. Empire Strikes Back, I think, has the best story, and for some reason, like, that movie came out 1980, whatever it was, and we still talk about the reveal of Darth Vader being Luke's father all the time. Like, it is a cultural, like, as much as it didn't hit me as a shock, because, I mean, you just hear it all the time, I can appreciate the fact that it was a culturally significant moment around the world. Like, everybody in the world can get what you are referencing when you say, I am your father. Like, that is, like, the most iconic line in all of Star Wars, to be honest. Fight scene's okay. I love Han and Leia's romance throughout. Don't like Luke and Leia's, but I love Han and Leia's romance. That is beautiful. And then my number 1, everybody already knows it. I've probably propped it up all the time. Revenge of the Sith. Okay? You can't beat the fight scenes. Can't beat all the galactic war going on. The best visuals, I think the visuals stand even with the sequel trilogy. So that's even more impressive to it. Most emotional scenes for me, Order 66 hits me like a truck. Every time, like, I can feel my heart drop. And then if I'm ever in a sad mood, I go and watch the final fight scene between Obi-Wan and Anakin so I can feel something. I'm like, all right, I need some tears. Like, let's go watch that. Let's go watch that scene and feel some emotion here. Just top to bottom, best movie. I know there are some complaints about it, but it's a consensus top 3. I don't understand putting it outside of your top 4 or top 3. Sorry,
it was just 4.
It was just 4. Yeah, but 4 is fine. I mean, if it's gonna be anywhere outside the top 3, it needs to be 4.
I just remember Yoda like also watching it in theaters again, or watching it in the theater, but like, when Order 66 started going, when it commenced, like, you could see Yoda, like, he grabbed, like, he knew, like,
and I think that's what makes our experience unique, is I think we were able to watch episodes 1 and 2 before the original trilogy, really, or that we remember, like, I remember watching 1 and 2, then 3. Like, I remember growing up with not really knowing what was going to happen-ish, and so it hit way harder. Like, that was amazing to me. Prequels get knocked, but you know what sound I love on TikTok? You ever hear the guy, Chancellor Palpatine, the little-known senator from Naboo. Like, he explains it so well. I'm like, dang, the prequel trilogy made so much sense. This was actually well written. Other than the dialogue.
The story was there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think there are some interesting takes. I think we had a couple consistents from all of us. But it seems like our top 3 definitely has a lot of variation, and that's what Star Wars is all about. That's what it's all about.
All right, so what do you guys think our biggest hot take was? I mean, other than you, Dill, we're not.
Sure.
We don't need to open that can of worms ever again, and I'm gonna pretend you didn't say it from after this episode's over.
Sure.
I'm just kidding. I am totally kidding. But Trevor, what was your hot take? Because we already know this.
So I personally think a lot of people are going to consider my Rogue One number 1 take the hottest. I
think it's gonna be a New Hope. Technically, we both have it at 8. I feel like it's going to be A New Hope at 8.
It might be. And you know what? I might be in a fortunate period where Andor's fresh off the press, so people are going to like that take a lot better. We tried to film this episode months ago, to full disclosure. Rogue One has been my top. I do think New Hope being at 8 is a hot take. I think that most people would consider us both putting Return of the Jedi above A New Hope, and for me, putting Return of the Jedi above Empire Strikes Back as well. I think a lot of the original trilogyist fans are not going to like that take. But again, I got my personal reasons, got a lot of attachment to it. I think that's one of my hot takes. What do you think about you?
It's either going to be A New Hope at 8, but I think I saved myself with Empire Strikes Back being 2 a little bit, so that gives me some saving grace with A New Hope. I think it'll be Force Awakens at 5. And yours is at 4.
I'm really screwed here.
I definitely have the most basic list, I would say. But Force Awakens at 5 feels a little high, I think, as a consensus around the fan base. But I think that's mostly because of the next two movies. I don't think it's on its own. Like, if people just take it at its solo, like, I think
Solo.
5... Yeah. That was a poor word to use right there.
Solo.
Take it on its own. Yeah. Take it on its own. I feel like that's a fair ranking. They might understand that. I'm defending myself a little bit here. I hope I get 0 hate comments. That'd be amazing. I hope all the comments are like, Trax had the best takes.
Well,
that's not what I'm going for. That's actually how I feel.
That's why you made your list.
My list is how I feel. I promise. My list is how I feel. But I do want to
I think I know who's going to get the most hate in the comments.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, Dill. That's just...
We don't know. We didn't know our fan base breakdown. What if a lot of our fans are sequelists?
Oh, then
And they like, no.
Sorry, Trax.
Then we're shutting down. I'm just kidding. I should apologize for my... Alright, I do think people love the sequels. And
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Yeah. So I'm making myself not a Sith character.
That's why you get the red light over there.
Because I'm bad. People love the sequels. I'm
just in the purple. I'm on
It's not my cup of tea. That's all I'm gonna say. It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And I'm right. No, not my cup of tea.
Yeah. I think this is a fun episode, and by no means is this episode supposed to
Alienate.
affect. Alienate's a great word.
Yeah.
What you personally think in the comments. I think discussion about it, open discussion about it, is fun. It can be fun to kind of razz each other about things. Mm-hmm. But I think each of us has valid reasons for why it ranks where it is. Again, I think, maybe hopefully you disagree with this, I think if you objectively had asked us to base it purely off story, I think mine would look quite different.
Mine would probably look different.
It seems like you have weighed a story a good amount in yours.
Mine was more about emotion.
Yeah.
To be honest, the feelings I feel when I'm watching the movie, like Revenge of the Sith elicits the most emotion from me, so that's why it's number 1.
Okay. Yeah. So again, for me, it was a lot of rewatchability, impact. I kind of combined rewatchability, first time experience that I've seen it, and then overall emotions towards that movie to kind of get my list. Story obviously played a part. Like I referenced, Force Awakens ranks higher than A New Hope specifically for me because it does a well enough job of encapsulating A New Hope story with better graphics. But yeah. What was your kind of ranking?
Mine was more on because you guys know more of the story than I do on every little detail. For me, I'm a normal person that would just go and watch the movie in the theater. So,
You're saying we're not normal people.
Well,
what are you calling us?
super fans.
Oh, there you go. I like that phrase. I can go along with that.
I'm a fan, but I don't know lore and everything behind it.
Yeah.
You haven't rewatched them 10 times through.
Well, I can't say I haven't watched them 10 times because Star Wars marathons, but
But those
just
are 1
seeing
year
the
between.
experiences for me, Star Wars marathon, watching them in the theaters was a big thing. Part of it being graphics too, the sequels, have more better graphics than probably most of them. Besides Revenge of the Sith, and after watching that in the theater, that one was a good one. Seeing it in the theater really changed my mind on it too. And
do you want to tell people what you originally had it at? You don't have to. You don't have to. I'm putting you on the spot right now, and I kind of feel bad about that.
But like I said, it did change after watching it in theaters. And this was before the theaters.
Can I take a look at your list just so I know?
My list?
Yeah.
I almost.
We welcome you on our podcast, and you start breaking things.
I'm sorry. So no, I honestly.
Oh yeah, this
I
is
would've-
updated. Okay.
That's the updated list, and then but I don't know. It was. It was just saying it was not top 6.
I mean, I wasn't going to out you like that. I was going to say it wasn't the top 4 because you obviously moved it up. But outside the top 6 is
I'll put it this
crazy.
way, it was top 7.
Was it?
So it was 7.
Yeah,
it's on 7.
It wasn't top 6, but let me put it like this.
It was top 7.
Okay.
What was your guys' the biggest debate you had between flipping at a spot? Yeah.
I was pretty set.
You were pretty set.
I was pretty set in my ways. Sorry, I don't know if you need to look this up.
Mine was definitely A New Hope and Solo. That was mine. Like 7 and 8 with A New Hope and Solo. That was super hard. I was like, A New Hope has a lot of nostalgia to it, but I just thought Solo was a better movie in general.
I think if I had to change my list like over, I'd probably go Revenge of the Sith.
As number
Rogue. Yep.
Whoa.
Rogue One.
Oh, okay.
Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So that would be my top three. I would choose
respect.
So
No,
I respect.
I think looking at these, there's not a whole lot of wiggle room. I guess you could argue like I could have. I had Last Jedi at 10, Rise of Skywalker at 11. Maybe I could have flip flopped.
Yeah.
That was a meaningless kind of exchange in my mind. I had New Hope 8, Empire 7. And, I do feel bad putting Phantom Menace at 9, but
I do too. Honestly, I do love that movie. I just don't. Yeah.
I think my
Sorry. You did a great job to the actor of Little Wayne. You did a great job. You did a great job. But
I know which ones I need to go and watch.
Yeah.
And rewatch and whatnot, especially 10 to 12. Watch them.
And you should start with Andor. You should watch Andor. We're going to talk about that later, but.
hey, I want to say this though. Your ranking should always be off of your personal feelings.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yes.
Alright? Star Wars is an expansive universe. It is meant to be an expansive universe. That is why they're going to keep storytelling. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because there's going to be somebody that likes something because of the experience they were able to get from it. And the last thing we want to do as people and fans is take away the opportunity for somebody to have an experience.
Yep.
Done.
If I did that, I am sorry.
You're not pointing fingers.
My passion got the best of me. I'm not going to lie. I'm very passionate about my top. I'm very passionate about
No,
my
I don't think you took away from.
Yeah.
It's more of, we don't need to cancel projects. We don't need to do whatever else. Don't take away an experience for somebody else because the experience is what gets people to fall in love with Star Wars.
Yep. And those movies may be up at the bottom of my list, but Race Trilogy coming out later, I'm going to go watch it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give it a shot. We already talked about that in the previous episode. But
it's going to be brutal when all three of those movies come out for a Star Wars marathon.
Oh my
it's going to be brutal. We're going to be pushing. We're going to be
I think we're going to put Andor in there too.
Go 2 days straight.
We're going to be pushing, even if those are almost 2 hours, yeah, it's going to be over 2 hours.
I mean, we got the Ryan Gosling movie too.
Well, we're going to have to round this up for 2 days.
That's at least 8 hours of new movies coming out
in the next 5 years. It's going to be pushing 40s probably.
Yeah.
Watch all
that would be crazy, but I'll do it. Listen, I feel pride in saying that I have completed all 12 movies, and watched them and stayed up the whole time. No sleeping, no nap breaks.
I'm going to be
A
drinking.
lot of the people
and a healthy amount of caffeine.
Yeah, a lot of people that we invite be taking naps or be giving up. No, it's the real ones.
Yeah, I remember one time I fell asleep through one. And,
it's hard not to.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the one.
Your favorite movie's the last one. You should not be falling asleep in the last one.
maybe we look at
reordering.
Yeah, maybe come down traditional order just to give us some benefit because you're at that 26-hour period.
I wouldn't mind starting with the sequels.
Knowing that there's 4 more movies
I wouldn't mind starting with the sequels.
I don't know that I could do it.
Let us know in the comments how we should do our next Star Wars marathon.
To ensure that we stay up the whole time.
Yes.
All right, we're not asking how you would show somebody
You should
new.
live stream it.
32. What are we?
What if we all fall asleep and it's just a live stream of us sleeping, right?
Also,
but we don't keep it PG,
so
yeah,
we don't keep it PG.
We can't live stream. We can live stream once in a while, but not the whole thing.
Yeah.
Not the whole thing.
Do Instagram live for a little bit or something like that.
Yeah, we could look at TikTok, Instagram,
Does TikTok have live?
Yeah. I'll take TikTok, you take Instagram, and then.
We could look into that. So let us know how we should watch, and also if you'd be interested in when we do our yearly marathon, if a little live for at least part of it, we can do a Q&A, whatever else.
Real with Instagram and whatnot.
We'll start a GoFundMe so you guys can give us energy drinks for the marathon.
We'll have to.
Wait, no, we gotta pay somebody because we can't leave. I'm not leaving. I'm gonna keep it rolling the whole time.
No, I know, but if we're
gonna pay somebody to go grab
ahead of time.
Ahead of time.
Like DoorDash, dude.
Yeah, we pig out. We typically everybody brings 1 or 2 snacks. We all chip in for pizza. We all chip in for pop, juices, whatever else. And there's different strategies. I think, Josh always tried to do the healthy sugar route, so like apples, granola bars.
Yeah.
Me, I was sun chips, zebra cakes, like the frosted cookie, Mountain Dew Code Red, Mountain Dew Voltage.
I'm gonna do
energy drink.
I'm gonna start with the Celsius, and then about 5 hours in.
You're starting with the Celsius? You don't want to do that.
When I'm on the come down, I'm gonna drink a Reign.
Well, but why wouldn't you just be fresh in the morning and your body's gonna naturally wake up?
Well, we start at 6.
Yeah, but Trax, if you have an energy drink at 6, your crash is gonna be hard. And you're trying to say you're gonna keep substituting to stop the crash, it's not gonna work.
I'll figure it out.
Also, this guy's a cooler.
Yeah.
So we can put drinks in here. This is where all the GoFundMe drinks will go.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh man.
All right.
So,
Well, that was it for me. I don't know if you guys had anything.
No, I am totally good. That was a lot of fun.
yeah,
a lot
that was
of
fun.
Yeah.
Great. All
Thank
right.
you for letting me on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We will catch you next time.
See you guys.